Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now, the market is continuing to take its shape for 2025, which is to say that every single week is different. Yes, we have some serious worldwide economic turmoil, which of course one day looks like it's the end of the world, and then with anything that the President of the United States says, the next day the stock market can go up by 5%. So where does that leave us in the city of Toronto? People still have to live somewhere. People are buying, people are selling, and what I'm finding very interesting about the market right now is that, for example, we have a $4 million listing that happens to be absolutely gangbusters, and that's going to move. But meanwhile, we have a $499,000 condo that has had absolutely no showings. The market right now is perhaps the most interesting it's been in quite some time, and with chaos, of course, comes opportunity. I personally see a tremendous amount of opportunity in the starter homes, the single family homes, but of course, for the folks out there that maybe are behind on their condo, or maybe it's not worth as much as they woulda, coulda, shoulda got for it before, a lot of those people are saying, geez, I don't know if now's the right time. Here's the thing. Let's say that you could go out and buy a house right now and get a $200,000 discount from the peak. And let's say on your condo, you are maybe $75,000 behind. That seems like a trade that I would be willing to make. So today, folks, I want to look at Danforth Village. Now, Danforth Village, if you go to, and let's take a look here on my screen, check this out. If you go to Google and you say Danforth Village, well, here's what it shows you, Danforth Village. This is not the Danforth Village that I want to look at. In fact, I would say that this is an area in the city where I might have a hard time putting a young single family. Specifically, there's a little bit of riffraff over here. There's a Tim Hortons over here, which is very lively. But if you wanted to go east of here, excuse me, it's actually west. If you want to go west of here, we're going to look at Danforth Village as I see it. Now, just to say that we did, over here on my map, that's where we just were, thanks to Google. But as you're going west, yes, it's west, from Woodbine basically over to Pape, and let's draw a box just to say we did. So let's go Mortimer here, we'll go Woodbine, we'll go Danforth, and we'll go Pape. This to me is Danforth Village. Now, a few notes before we begin. We have Riverdale here, very nice, very high-end area. High-end, of course, compared to Danforth Village, let's be honest. A house over here is going to cost substantially less than a house in here. Then you've got Plater Estates, which runs all the way over to Pape. So there's a little pocket here between Pape and Greenwood that I think, oh, sorry, is that Greenwood? Yeah, Donlands, sorry, Pape and Donlands as we zoom in. A little area here, which is sort of not Danforth Village, it's a little bit better, but of course not Plater Estates at the same time. Plater Estates has Jackman, which is the school district a lot of folks want to get into, and we will be talking a lot about school districts today. So you can see R.H. McGregor has popped up here. It says recently viewed. What I want to look at today, obviously we're looking at price, we're looking at housing size, style, number of beds, number of baths, school district, proximity to the Danforth, because of course house up near Mortimer is going to cost a little bit less. But at the risk of calling this starter homes, I want to look at from beginning to end, sub 1.4 million, let's say, what is available in and around this area. Now here is our option set. Here are our options, let's say, and of course as I try to zoom in this prop tech situation here, look at that, I can't even zoom in any more than that. One zoom, too much. One zoom out, too much. You guys are saying, David, we really don't care, that's your problem. But I do this every single week, so it's a bit of a shtick. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna put this up. Let's draw another box, please. So we've got Pape, we've got Danforth, we've got Woodbine, and we've got Mortimer. We have our box. Not to beat a dead horse, but over on this side, Plater Estates, no, we're not going there. South of Danforth, no, Riverdale, we're not going there. And of course, on the other side of Woodbine, we could go into this box here. It's sort of that lesser than Danforth Village, whereas this one is sort of more than Danforth Village, but we're not gonna go over here to Dawes Road. So let's start here, guys. Our first house we're going to look at is 48 Woodington. Now, another thing we need to talk about is offer dates. A lot of houses right now are coming out without offer dates, and a lot of houses are still holding back offers. This is in the latter. So this one has an offer date. It is not a $999 house, but it is probably, in my estimation, sub 1.25 million. The other consideration, and we won't get into it today in Pick 5, but there's a lot about this on Toronto Realty Blog, is seller expectations. I was talking to Chris yesterday. He forwarded me a message that an agent sent to him, and she said, the clients are super motivated. She's the listing agent. And I said, no, Chris, the agent is motivated. The sellers are not. The sellers are priced 15% above fair market value. So, 1.2 and 1.3, hey, 1.2 is what a house might be worth. The seller wants 1.3. It doesn't mean that they're going to get it. So all these $999 listings right now, a lot of them, hey, 1.2, sure, we've got a buyer for it. Oh no, seller wants 1.4. There's a massive discrepancy between expectations and market realities. So Woodington, we're at Coxwell and Danforth. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath semi. We're 17 feet wide by 107. And here you can see it says 2-car parking. Where is 2-car parking at 17 feet? I love the half car. I've always wanted to see a car cut in half. I love when people say, yes, it's a half car, 1.5 car garage. Now, the house itself, very pretty. It's a corner lot, which means, of course, that's 17 feet. Well, you're probably getting 5 or 6 feet of city land, so it's going to be a much bigger house. So there is your parking. So it's a private drive as far as I'm concerned, side by side. So again, I take back what I said about 17 feet. This is at the rear. This is a tremendous opportunity. What always bothers me, I think you need at the back lane, a 20-foot lot to call it 2-car parking, right? 10 feet per car. And that's where you get into the 1.5 car. 14-foot lot, 1.5 car. So on the inside of the house, you can see, and to be honest, that driveway is the best thing about this house. On the inside, you can see, okay, original finish here, ceiling fan here, original moldings here. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge, right? But the good news is they've taken down the interior freestanding walls. And again, here you can see original staircase. Some people love that, don't get me wrong. To each their own, but they've taken down the interior freestanding walls. Maybe you don't love the furniture, but you've got great principal living, great principal dining, and then you've got what looks to me like a bigger kitchen. Yeah, there you go, that's awesome. A bigger kitchen than you're going to expect to find in most of these semis, especially with 17 feet. So that might have something to do with the fact that it's a corner lot and you've got a little bit more room than you would expect. So staircase at the back, which is phenomenal because it means that it opens up. Let's see here, guys, I'm going to show you. Excuse me, see this here? This is normally where your staircase would be. It's down underneath of the stairs that go up a level, and instead you have the stairs that go at the back. So now they're jumping up to the bedroom. Bedrooms are pretty unsexy in 3-bed, 2-bath semis. Okay, we bed, yeah, we got carpet, we've got ceiling fans. So again, this is a lovely house. It's well cared for, it's well loved, well lived in, but there are some older finishes. And then you get downstairs to the basement and you have this sort of classic partly finish. So, you throw a rug down and you've got an exposed ceiling and a couple pot lights and they've staged as best as they can. I mean, hey, this looks finished. You've got an electric fireplace and you've got drywall, but your ceiling's unfinished. So partly finished, kudos to them for being honest, because it is definitely partly finished. You've got a nice little backyard here and you can see school over here. So there's your side yard, and that's what I meant when I said 17 feet. For all we know, your lot ends here, and then you've got this city land here. So that's the fun part about corner lots. Other people don't like corner lots because they're not as private, and of course there's more traffic because you've got cars going from 2 different directions. So that is a photo of a butterfly, which is awesome. That's amazing. I love that they put that in there. So $999 with an offer date. And let's go to our map here, another prop text. Prop text is the new MLS, if you will, right? So we go to our map here, and then David gets really frustrated about its functionality. So we're close to Danforth, but we're not so close that, I've mentioned this before, if you're on Strathmore, you can feel the subway in a lot of areas, a lot of houses. So we're 1 street north of there, so you're not gonna feel the subway. But check this out, you're this close to Danforth, this close to the subway, your infrastructure, your coffee shop, your organic beanery or whatever it is, I don't actually know what's around here, but all of your infrastructure is down there on Danforth. So location's phenomenal, and you can see, where is it here? Okay, we'll just block out the agents' names and contacts. So we've got Tuesday, April 29th. So yeah, what's not to like? Seller expectation maybe. So what do I think on this? 1.2 is a floor, phenomenal value at 1.2. Locations there. Now the school district of this one, forgive me, I believe is R.H. McGregor. No, it is, as I get my notes, Earl Beatty. So Earl Beatty ranks a 6.1 out of 10 by the Fraser Institute. Say what you want about the school rankings. I have mentioned many times, I look at the outdoor facilities. I'm old school, I want kids playing outside. I look at, number of kids in classrooms, stuff like that. The test scores are relevant, of course, but it's only part of what goes into it. So definitely like that one on Woodington. And now I'm going to go back, because I'm going to do these in order of price, to another one that's sub $1 million. The difference here is it's 13 days in the market. So Woodington's $999 with an offer date. I think that's a house between 1.2 and 1.3. Maybe the sellers want more, remains to be seen. This is a house here on Queensdale that has been up for 13 days. It's $985, and heck, it's probably negotiable. So the reason why, guys, is it's a 2-bed, 1-bath. So we talk about starter homes. And starter home's not a bad word. I've got a client that was editing the MLS data sheet that we're going to put out for listing next week, and she said, can we not call it a starter home? Maybe we have people upgrading from other properties. And I'm like, listen, it's a starter home. It's a first home. This is a first home. I don't believe anyone's moving from a home to this home of course being house, because it's only a 2-bed, 1-bath. Now, 15.46, it's not a terrible frontage, 85 deep or 85 short, no parking, and then basement we have other. So let's go to the map first, just to show you where this is, because Queensdale is right in the heart, I would say, right? So you're not at Mortimer, but you're also not down here at Strathmore, but you are further west. So if, you know, over here, for example, was where we just looked at the first house on Woodington, okay, Coxwell Subway. Here, how much closer are you? Your Greenwood Subway, does it really make a difference? But what it does is it gets you into a different school district. This is into R.H. McGregor. So the house itself, as I mentioned, it's a 2-bed, 1-bath. It's $985. It's offers anytime. It's cute. You can call this a condo alternative if you want. Then I would look for functionality, things like where am I hanging my coats, where am I putting my shoes, there's no closet here, and I've got one little couch. So where am I putting my TV? Okay, TV on that wall. Okay, where am I dining? Where am I dining here? Is there a dining room? Yes, there is, but is it really a room or is it in the kitchen? And so we have to be careful, and again, huge proponent of staging over here, but when I'm working with a buyer, I'm saying look past the staging, look past the photos, the throw pillows, all that stuff, and look at functionality. Because what you don't want is to get into a house that offers marginally more or the same functionality as your existing condo, and then you outgrow it. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, if somebody let's typecast. You've got a young couple, and you know she owns a condo and he's renting, and they move in together and they want to buy a house. They want a backyard for the dog, Theo. And then, actually, I know someone whose dog's name is Theo, and probably going to hear from her in about 10 minutes after this airs. So this is the house for them. Under $1 million, it's $985 list. Maybe you pull this for $950. You have your backyard, you have your freehold, you have your 2-story, you've got your 2 bedrooms, you've only got the 1 bath, but this is $300,000 less than some of the other houses that we're looking at that are 3-bed, 2-bath. And for this particular fictional couple with a dog named Theo, they just cannot afford that. So my only qualm here is that you don't really have a dining room. And as a guy that in my first condo, I ate dinner every single night at my IKEA coffee table, I don't care about that sort of thing. But the couple, I'm sure they're gonna wanna have nice little dinners, talk about their day. How was your day? Oh, it was great. How was your day? It was great. It was great. Great. Really great all around. So now you've got into the basement here, which says other. That's other. I don't know why it says other and why we have half a photo. Is it possible, see my mouse here, let's go to this. Now up here, trying to draw an arrow, there we go. Is it possible that the ceiling's not finished and that's why they took a photo of the floor? I don't know, but that's another one there. And then we're out of the house. So I'm going to assume by other, it's partly finished and you've got 1 room down there. So out back, this is where the dog Theo really comes into his own. This to me is why I think there's value in Danforth Village for starter homes, why I think you could move from your 1-bedroom condo to this. Okay, your dog's running around back here, you've got your table up here, you've got a 2-tiered deck, you've barbecuing up here. Let's get the other photos. Other way, there we go. It's not actually what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Got your deck up here for your barbecue, your deck here for all your friends. Then one day you turn 44 and you don't have any of them left. But coming out of your condo, they're all gonna come visit you. Like Jenny and Johnny just bought a house and the dog Theo's roaming in the yard. This is your quintessential sub $1 million starter home. Okay, so we're at $985. I showed you Woodington at $999. Let's now go to Roosevelt, which is $999. Roosevelt or Roosevelt? So this too has an offer date. I'm looking at the picture here. It's kind of funny from like a brand perspective. That's not a $999 house. I can just tell. I can just tell by the color of the lens. Now let's look down here and we'll see exactly where this one is. This is just south of Mortimer. Can we do this? Let's go. Okay, let's go. You guys are gonna go. Isn't it frustrating? It's like watching your grandfather. Okay, double click. Nope, that zooms in. Can we go full screen? Can we go full screen? This is the frustrating part about having a new MLS system. You guys are watching this. David, do it. Go. Plus, no, it doesn't work. Okay, you can cut all that, Jonathan. That was ridiculous. So just south of Mortimer, and that is going to affect the price, of course. Now, if you pick this house up from here and you put it right down here, what's the difference in price? Is it crazy to say that it's $100,000 more because it's that close to Danforth? No, right? Remember those three things they say about real estate: location, location, and I can't remember the third one. So close to Danforth, we're paying a premium. Maybe that's why for some particular buyers, you might say, I'd rather get more house and not be as close to Danforth, right? And there comes the to each their own situation. So 3-bed, 2-bath, we have parking, it's mutual. We'll see if that's a real parking space. Almost a 20-foot lot, 95 deep, and the house is in really great shape. So again, the $999 listing to me is all these people want between 1.2 and 1.3. Most of them want 1.3, some of them might end up with 1.2, or maybe they relist at 1.299. There's a lot of relisting happening, but the house itself is awesome. So for that buyer who wants to get more house, wants to get a better house, are you willing to go up a little bit further north and away from the Danforth? Everybody's different. It's gonna be split 50-50 on this. So you can see, original rads, original freestanding walls. This thing's not great job staging, right? This is an agent who does a ton of business on this side, really amazing staging. But again, this is not like brand new, fully renovated. We are gonna see one of those houses shortly. And with that, of course, the caveat comes, renovators, flippers, right? Flippers. I was in a house yesterday with folks who are looking to relocate from the east side into least side, and they bought like the proverbial, brand new builder house, and they're like problem after problem after problem. And yeah, that's the rub, right? And I bought a builder house, my basement flooded in 18 months, but you could buy a resale house that's 20 years old from the family, and you know that they're probably not, painting over the asbestos. But when it comes to developers, especially flippers, speculators, you've always got to take it with a grain of salt. Assume something will happen at some point. So in here you can see we have stainless steel appliances, but we've just painted the original cabinetry in here. And then you've got the little rad there. So not the biggest kitchen. And then where's the fridge, right? It's on the other side of the kitchen over here. So people are going to want to take down this freestanding wall. That's what's going to make this thing, this is a nice little mudroom at the back. But that's what's going to make this thing next level. So take this down and open it up like the first house that we saw at Woodington. So here's where that sort of 1.2 to 1.3 game begins. Sellers want 1.3, buyer pool says, well, you don't have the open concept kitchen, you're a little bit further north, and you've got a mutual drive with 1 car parking. So where does this thing land? Really nice house, really great starter home. It is 3 beds, it is 2 baths, and so consider the first one, the one that was $985, it's only a 2-bed, 1 bath. If you're talking this is 1.2 to 1.3, there's your $200,000 to $300,000 difference that really makes or breaks for a lot of those entry-level buyers. So basement, yeah, I'd say this is finished, nicely done. It has a ceiling, unlike the first couple of houses, and it's adding a rec room, adding potentially an office, and that's a lot more space. Going from 2 functional floors to 3 is a huge, huge deal. So finished bathroom downstairs. You always think you're going to use that shower, and unless you and your partner get up every day at the same time and have the same routine, you might end up using that. And I remember my brother, he was always like, yeah, I get the basement shower. Lindsay's always, yeah, okay. So I don't know how that works. You flip a coin, or the lady just gets it no matter what. So nice backyard, kind of looking for the parking. So here's where you go. This to me, yes, this is legit mutual drive parking. Where I have an issue with mutual drive parking is, number 1, you cannot fit a car between the 2 houses. And number 2 is where there's a fence there. And then in the notes, it's like, mutual parking if you take down the fence. I hate when agents do that. So another great house, full of opportunity here. Target 1.2 to 1.3. So what have we done here? Let's summarize. We had Woodington. Beautiful house, great location. That's got an offer date. We just looked at Roosevelt, another beauty. And our very first one was Queensdale. Let's go here, and as you can see, why didn't I just use this map instead of PropText, this ridiculous map? Okay, so now this one here is on Milverton, but it is west of Donlands, so you're in that little pocket with Woody Crest. We had 2 listings there last year, Langford, great streets. So you're not in Plater, but you're also not in between this box here. So we'll take a look at this house, and this is a fascinating one, guys, because here's where you see the difference, just moving over a little bit west. You have $1,349,000, 3-bed, 2-bath, 17.75 by 75. So it's a short lot. It is a 2.5 story, which sounds great, but again, think from a functionality perspective, how is how are the bedrooms and bathrooms spread over those 2 levels or 1.5 level. Then you've got no parking and a partly finished basement. So Milverton, this falls into which school district? Wilkinson. I should have known that. So Wilkinson, that's a very good school. It ranks a 7.7. So if I could go back to the map here, what I'm going to show you is, remember, in here is Plater Estates, and you've got Jackman School District. I would say, and apologies to anybody with kids in these schools, I'm just going based on the rankings and what people think, and of course what people pay for. Here's your sort of top school, Jackman. Then you say, okay, next we're in here, Wilkinson. Then once you get in here, you're into Earl Beatty, R.H. McGregor, etc. So we've got a great school district in Wilkinson, but what about the house? Talk to me here. We have no parking space, fine. It's a beautiful Edwardian. It's a 2.5 story. Is it a little bit narrow at 17.75? Okay, principal living, principal dining. I like that. Those are decent enough rooms. And from a layout perspective, we still have, this is all open, but our kitchen, which is going to be enclosed, and then you've got what? A dining table in the kitchen? Don't worry about it, because you have this dining table here. So with the house that was $985, I had mentioned it's great, except that you don't have a dining room. You've got a dining table in the kitchen. This one does from a staging standpoint. I might not have put that there, but you do actually have a dining room. So I like this. Okay, we've got gas. We've got a lot of storage. Walk out to the deck. Now we're upstairs. So my question here, I mentioned functionality, is going to be, if you have 3 bedrooms, is one of them on the top level, right? And that's kind of the rub to me. If that's a +1, no problem. We'll come back to that. But how functional is this? So as a parent, I can say that if I had 2 young children and I was on the 2nd floor and one kid's on that floor and then the other bedroom's up a level, well, I don't like that. I want to be on the same floor as my kids. Now, mind you, once they get to be older, you're like, God, I want to be on a different floor than my kids. So we'll come back to this in a moment as we look through the rest of the bedrooms. And there is your bathroom, and there's your basement, right? So partly finished. Again, you see the open ceiling. You see the light bulb here that's reminiscent of like flickering in your eyeballs when you're in public school. It just feels very institutional. And then here's your backyard, right? As I said, it's only 75 feet deep. So not huge. Let's get some aerial shots here. I think they got the drone out. Did y'all get the drone out? There you go. You got the drone out. Okay, so this is towering over top of you, and you have a very, very small 75. 75, that's it. So scroll down here, guys. You have primary, second, third, and then the loft. Perfect. What I do not like about 2.5 story homes is when you say it's a 3-bedroom, and then you've got primary on the second bedroom on the second, and then the 3rd bedroom is in the half level up top. Not functional. And regardless of whether here it says loft and it's like kind of a combination ladder staircase situation, even if you have a full staircase, if you have young kids, are you putting one of them on the top level? And then if you're like, no problem, our kids will be on the 2nd floor, we'll be on the top level, but you have no bathroom up there, I don't love that. Okay, so let's go to the last one here, guys. And this is what I mentioned when I said, what happens when you get a flip? So first and foremost, before we even look at it, I want to go down here and look at the listing history. So you can see here they paid $915 for the house, needed a gut, and that was last year. They brought it at 1169 with an offer date, didn't work. They put it up at 1499, didn't work. They put it out at 1430, hasn't worked, and now they're at 1395. So it is a flip, and thank you, you can see the map here. Okay, so this is Woodbine, we're on Glebeholme. I believe we started in and around here at Coxwell, right? That was on Woodington. So when you look at the specs and you go, wait a minute, $1,395,000 for a 3-bed, 4-bath, 19.67 by 120 with a finished basement, what am I missing here? This looks too good to be true. I mean, maybe it is. And that's the problem that I have. I just do not trust flippers in this market. So this could be the best house in the city of Toronto for all I know. I haven't been in it. I'm just saying take it with a grain of salt. Now, when you look at the house itself from the inside, this is $1,395,000 and fully renovated. You're going to say, David, you just told us that, okay, Milverton's $1,349,000 and it has no parking and a 75-foot lot. Okay, it's an Edwardian, it's in Wilkinson School District, it's further west, to each their own. Maybe somebody wants that. Okay, but you said Woodington's between 1.2 and 1.3. So what if the sellers want 1.3, and then what if these guys for the flip would take 1.35? Isn't this a better house? To each their own. Everybody's looking for something different. I think I look at this right now and I think I want to know the quality of the workmanship. I want to tear this thing apart with a home inspector because I have had way, way too many issues. Not saying with builders, right? What is a builder? If me and Chris go build a house, are we builders? I'm saying with flips. Flips, are a problem in the city of Toronto. So having said that, this looks pretty good. I'm not just saying from a staging standpoint, but overall, taking down on the freestanding walls, principal living, dining, great kitchen. We've got the island. We've got, nice finishes, but anyone can throw finishes in there. Anyone can buy a fridge. Anyone can, buy a countertop. What's behind the walls? Talk to me about basement waterproofing, right? A lot of developers say, it's waterproof in the basement. And then once you have your first flood and you dig up the driveway and you're like, wait a minute, there's no waterproofing here. So, what's going on with heating, cooling, plumbing? Have they repaired all the plumbing? Have they got rid of the cast iron stack? Have they taken out the knob and tube? So they've jammed 4 bathrooms into this house. That is a lot. But on the whole, I will say $1,395,000 for this house, 3-bed, 4-bath on this lot size. I hate their staging. It's very good value. Very good value on paper, and that is, of course, because there was a time when this was $1,550,000. So there's your finished basement. It's not like they're digging this out. No one's digging out a basement in this area. So you're going to have your one bulkhead, which is fine. You've got your panel, which is over top of your head, while you're laying on your really uncomfortable couch staring at a painting of a bike. I assume a TV goes there. Sidebar. Ever since I stopped drinking, I don't hang out in my basement anymore. That was kind of a sad realization on the weekend. Yeah, the basement. It used to be like, okay, Friday, Saturday night, let's go downstairs, watch a movie, pound some Ryan ginger ales, and now I just do yoga down there. God, that really sounded healthy of me. Okay, so what I would do if this was me, which this is clearly not, is I would spend, like $300 and send my photographer back to take photos without snow. Always bothered me. Huge pet peeve is when people will have photos of snow when, of course, it is absolutely beautiful outside. There you go. That is it. That is the Glebeholme. So 16 days in the market. I will say when it comes to flippers, a lot of times you think, oh, $1,395,000. It's been on the market 16 days. Let's offer them $1,350,000, see if we can get it. And then they sign back at $1,450,000 or something crazy. You just really can't predict that. So all told, guys, we've seen 5 properties, and they're all very, very different. We had a 985 true starter home. It's 2-bed, 1-bath, no dining tables in the kitchen. We've got a little bit of basement, but what did I say? Your dog Theo's running around, your friends from Condoville downtown. Will they come visit you? Becky and Jonathan have a house now. Oh, they think they're better than us. That's like my cynical view of what it's like. I may not be wrong in that, but that's your starter home. And then you've got the 2 at $999. We have Woodington. Maybe they want 1-2, maybe they want 1-3. That's a great house. Love the proximity, of course, to the Danforth. And then you've got Roosevelt. It's a little bit further north, and it didn't have maybe as much polish as we thought, but that's $999 also with an offer date. Milverton, $1,349,000. Is it worth it? Well, do you like that location? Do you want to be in Wilkinson School District? Do you want to be closer to Jackman? And then you have the one in Glebeholme that we just looked at, which is $1,400,000, down substantially in price, but it is a flip. Folks, there's a lot to be said when you are looking for your first home. Of course, looking at properties priced between $985,000 and $1,395,000, that's a massive gap. But that is exactly why it is so important to consider all of the elements. You have school district, you have parks, you have transit. How far are you from Danforth, which is the main retail infrastructure? Number of beds, number of baths, lot size, parking, condition, basement. Is it partly finished? Does that mean that you have no ceiling and you put a couch down there? Whew, that is a lot to consider. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's Pick 5. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.